All right. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We're still on Surah Al-Masad, and we are doing the words, the vocabulary words, al-kalimat al-jadida. So we reached to Saliya yasla. Saliya means to be exposed to the fire or to burn in the fire. The next word is lahab. Lahab is like a torch of fire. Yeah. So when the fire is raging, that's lahab. Also, sometimes smoke and dust is called lahab. Okay. Imra'atun is a woman, but in the context of mentioning her with a man, it's the wife of. So Imra'atu Abi Lahab is the wife of Abu Lahab. Al-Hatab is firewood. Al-Hatab is firewood. So it's something that is prepared to make fire. Now, according to some commentaries, Hammalat al-Hatab is not only a person who carries firewood, although that's what carrying is, ham, but it's the one here in this context. One of the interpretations is she carries slander. You know, like let's say I hear words from you and I go and deliver them and they're slanderous words. Why is that? It's because slander will cause a person to burn in the fire. Similarly, it says, some of the commentators said about Abu Lahab, it doesn't actually mean the father of the flame. Rather, it means the one who causes trouble. Remember how we said dust and smoke? So like when someone is like causing a dust storm, it's not them actually physically causing a dust storm, but causing trouble and inciting problems. So that's some further tafsir of it. But so don't make that the primary meaning, but just something to consider, I guess. Tabba is tababa. The root would be tababa if you're looking it up. And it means to continue in a state of loss. So it's not just something that's temporary. Like you say someone lost. Okay, when you say someone is a loser, that's their identity. That's how we don't say stuff like that about people, except if they're perpetual in that particular act. So loss, it's got to do with loss. أغنى يغني. This means different things based on how it's used. So أغنى could mean to bring about, to give wealth to someone, or to make someone independent or self-sufficient. In this context, it means a source of protection or security. The root is ghaniya, and you may have learned that the one who's rich is called ghani. But ghani, actually, that's modern standard Arabic. Ghani is one of the names of Allah, and it means the one who doesn't need anything. Allahu huwa al-ghani. Allah doesn't need anything. It says, number one, al-ghani is used in multiple ways. The first one is not having needs. And who doesn't have any needs? Allah. That's only for Allah. The one who has no need. Inna Allah lahu al-ghaniyyu al-hamid. Two, the one who has small needs, some needs, but they're not that many. There is a hadith that says al-ghina ghina nafsi, which is, so I don't know how they would translate it, but they probably translate it as wealth is internal contentment. So when you have contentment, your needs are going to be less. So less needs. But it doesn't mean you have no needs. We still need food to survive. Even if you're content, it's like, do you want to eat? No, I'm content. But like, how long can you reject food for? You need it to survive. Now, you may not need too much of it. Okay? The third meaning is having a lot of properties and wealth. That's the only meaning that people think of when they hear ghani, one who has a lot. But look at the difference. The first one we said has no need, because even if you have a lot of things, does that mean you have no needs? It's like, no, yeah, I'm good. I didn't say you're bad. But do you have needs or not? Yeah, when in this context, it's like, it is sufficient for me. This satisfies me. Ma aghna anhu maluhu. His wealth is not enough for him. It's not enough. It's not going to be sufficient. Okay. So that's aghna yughni. Kasaba. Kasaba is to earn. Yeah, kasaba is when you go out of your way to earn something, like earning money. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the Quran, kasaba could mean the earnings in good deeds or bad deeds. So the things that you earn. Hammalun. Hammal is like fa'al, the one who's doing an action. The action is haml. Haml is carrying. Could be lifting. So the one who carries in Arabic is called hammal. I don't know if we have this job here, but like carrying heavy items from one place to the other. What is that called in English?
Porter.
Porter? Okay, porter. That would be a hammal. Like, some people, I don't know if, in the airport, do some people only carry luggage?
Yeah.
That would be a hammal. If that's all they do. Like he just does hammal. He carries it from one place to the next. Hammala is the feminine of the same word. Jeed. And he already gave us the definition, unuq, which is the neck. The neck is called unuq or jeed. When it comes to this word hamil, it has so many different meanings. It says it has to do with things that are carried internally, internal items that people carry, like a fetus is called haml, like water that's inside the clouds is haml, like fruit on a tree is called haml. So internal items that something carries. Haml also is like carrying a particular burden, like the burden of the message, the burden of bad deeds. حملت المرأة means she became pregnant. حملت الشجرة, the tree bears fruits. Jeed. Jayada is the root. Or Jawada. Which one will it be? Jawada. No. For some reason it's not here. Because Jude has to do with generosity. So let's see that meaning. Al-Jid al-Unuq. That's the place of the necklace. Specifically, it's the woman's neck. Okay. Hablun is a rope. Is a rope. Zawjatun is a wife. Halaka means multiple things, but one of the meanings is to be destroyed. And also to die. Yeah, it says halaka has three things. Number one, when you lose something, you say halaka. It's no longer with you. Let's say you had like something. You had a I don't know. What do people lose? You had keys. You say halaka miftahi. Halaka anni. It means I can't find it. I misplaced it. I lost it. In the Quran, Allah says halaka anni sultaniya. I no longer have any type of authority. Because on that day there's no authority. Only Allah has authority on that day. The next meaning is when something just goes bad, like it expires, you would say halaka. It goes bad. Third meaning is death. Is death. Fourth is when something completely I don't know what the word is, like becomes extinct. Like it no longer exists. When something loses its existence, I don't know what the word in English would be for that.
Extinct? Did you say that?
I said extinct, but is that appropriate? I mean, I know that they use that for like species when they become extinct.
Yeah. I mean,
What are you trying to describe?
Something that used to exist and no longer exists.
No, extinct, terminated, non-existent.
Extinct. No longer in existence. Very good. Thank you, Miles. Appreciate you for validating the word I suggested. I feel validated. Punishment, fear, and poverty is also sometimes mentioned with this word, al-halak. Yeah. Next. Unuqun is the neck. Leafun, we said, is the fiber. Nafa'a, to bring benefit. Nafa'a is to bring benefit. It says naf' is the thing that you utilize to bring about good things to yourself. So benefit. الشجر, trees. اليابس, dry. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد. Let's see the tafsir of this short surah. There's a lot of narrations about this story. The very first thing is Abu Lahab, that's not actually his name. His name is Abdul Uzza. Abdul Uzza ibn Abdul Muttalib. And his kunya is Abu Utbah. His son's name is Utbah. And he was known as Abu Lahab, not the father of the flame, but because he was very bright. His face was very bright and illuminating. He looked very good. He was a handsome person. His wife, her kunya is Jamil, not Lahab. Jamil. and her name is Arwa. She was the sister of Abu Sufyan. And she,
Her name again?
Arwa,
No,
Jamil, her kunya is Jamil, Jamil,
Jamil.
like Sheikh Jamil.
Oh,
That's a name.
I was just wondering where she would have that.
I mean, that's her real name, but we don't really have a very positive image of her through this surah. She used to help her husband and support him in his disbelief, in his rejection, and in his stubbornness. And that's why on the day of judgment, she's going to help him in his punishment in the hellfire. So Hammalat al-Hatab actually is that she will carry firewood to make his punishment even greater in the fire. I don't know if you've ever heard that one before. Hablun min masad, the rope that she has around her neck is made out of fire, because that's talking about the next life. Allah is informing us about the punishment that is awaiting her. There are some narrations that say that she used to put thorns in the path of the Prophet ﷺ. And she used to mock him for being poor. But she used to collect firewood. So collection of firewood was one of the jobs of the people at that time. There is also a narration that says that she had a necklace and she said, I'm going to sell it and spend it against the efforts of Muhammad. And that's why she's going to be replaced with a necklace where? Made out of fire.
So people who thought positively of Abu Lahab also called him Abu Lahab?
Yes. Yes, this was not a curse word. Let's see what other people say. This is in Tabari, so it has a lot of narrations. Abdul Uzza. Yeah, he was called Abu Lahab because of how beautiful he looked and how illuminated his face was. Now, when we hear this word, we don't think beauty at all. But like when, I guess some people say that, like they say they look like fire, but fire there as in beautiful, not like as in like burning. And he looked like the Prophet ﷺ. He was his uncle. So he resembled him. That's scary. Some of the Sahaba, they say when one of them was young, and he says, during the Hajj season, I went to the market and I saw this man preaching, and behind him is a man with two braids who looked very beautiful, and he was saying, this guy is crazy, don't believe him. So I asked, who are these two people? They're like, that's Muhammad. Who's that? That's his uncle. So Abu Lahab actually actively participated in undermining the mission of the Prophet ﷺ. Although there are narrations that say that when he first when the Prophet was first born, Abu Lahab was so happy that he freed his slave in celebration of Muhammad's birth because she came and delivered the news to him. Okay, so let's read what they have for us here. I just wanted to read those few narrations. كان أبو لهب. So we said, what's his actual name? عبد العزة. عبد العزة. كان أبو لهب. So again, I don't know if anyone. I think all the translations say father of the flame. Can you go to one of those, like Quran.com? What does Abu Lahab mean? That just shows you how everyone has a particular idea about something and it's completely wrong. Because when people hear this guy, they don't think about good looking, do they? No.
Sahih International has as Abu Lahab.
Okay.
Just
Others.
Same thing. Father of the flame.
What's that?
Yusuf Ali.
Father of the flame. And it's not father of the flame.
Sorry.
Because this is a kunya anyway. It's a kunya. Those are the only options? Everybody else just says Abu Lahab?
So I have Sahih International, Iqtar, Muhsin, Khan, Mufti, Tati Ismaili.
What does he say?
All Abu Lahab. The only one that says father of flame is Yusuf Ali.
Wow.
Like he's just trying to like written in English, Abu Lahab.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Uncle of the Prophet in parentheses for some of them.
Hmm. What does AMS Mass Abdul Halim say?
I don't think this translation is good.
It is on Quran.com.
Abu Lahab.
Abu Lahab. Okay. كان أبو لهب عم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the uncle of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. We said paternal uncle. So he's the brother of Abdullah. لا يحب الإسلام. He did not like Islam. وكان يؤذي, and he used to harm and abuse, هو وزوجته, him and his wife, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Him and his wife would abuse and bother and hurt the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. وفي أحد الأيام, I mean, this is not really accurate the way they just wrote it. One day, جمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الناس. Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم gathered people together. ودعاهم إلى عبادة الله, and he invited them to the worship of Allah. وأنذر الكفار بأن لهم عذابا شديدا إن لم يؤمنوا. And he gave a stern warning to the disbelievers that they will have a grave, severe punishment if they don't believe. I don't think anyone preaches like that anymore. That would be considered politically incorrect. If you don't accept God, you'll burn in the fire. I'm like, no, don't say that. That's offensive. There's no
Except
adab.
the guy who stands on university campuses and yells at everyone.
Yeah, what is that church called? The ones that go in Westboro?
Oh, are they them?
That's them. That's that same group.
Oh.
Yeah, they whenever like a soldier dies, they say he's going straight to the fire.
So it's that guy who like holds up a sign and basically just yells at everybody?
Mm.
Okay, because I've seen him on multiple campuses.
Yeah. I mean, they have different branches, but they come from what state are they from? West.
I thought it was like a total joke.
No, it's real. Westboro Baptist Church, yeah. Westboro Baptist Church from Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. Yeah.
Because I mean, like, who are you converting talking like that?
I mean, you know what their website is. Their official website is godhatesfags.com.
Oh, really?
It says, God hates fags, therefore I abhor them. Leviticus 20:23. Quoting the Bible. I don't think they're politically correct. It says, since 1955, WBC has taken forth the precious from the vile, and so is as the mouth of God. In 91, they began conducting peaceful demonstrations opposing the fag lifestyle of soul-damning, nation-destroying filth. In response, America showed that it is God's enemy. That's why they call America God's enemy. Now, God is America's enemy. 6,970 dead soldiers, 18 trillion in national debt. America crossed the line on June 26, 2003, when the Supreme Court ruled in Lawrence versus Texas that we must respect sodomy. The Supreme Court sealed your doom on June 26, 2015 with fag marriage. WBC Gospel's message is your last hope. You want to convert?
This is their only goal.
They just want to, they want to call out this particular thing. And they believe that this is going to bring destruction to society.
But I've heard them hate on hijabis too.
Well, of course, because they believe you guys worship the devil. That's why. Anyway, very interesting, isn't it? So the way people look at them is that like these are buffoons, these are fools, because they only see them in the demonstrations, but they don't read their content. They don't read why are they so upset. It's like, why are you so upset, man? Just let them be. Okay. I mean, I just wonder, and I want you to think, if prophets lived among us, would they like be completely content with the way people are? What would they do? I just want to like, this is what he did. He called everybody in Mecca and he says, look guys, if you don't believe in God, he's going to bring down a destruction. And that was the reaction that made Abu Lahab say, you brought us here, well damn you. You think like he was talking about something simple, so for no reason, like Abu Lahab was just so bad that he would tell his own nephew, damn you, that's why you brought us here. There must have been something that agitated Abu Lahab. He felt offended. How dare you tell us that our ways are wrong? Very interesting. فقال عمه أبو لهب تبا لك, may you be destroyed, or may you be in consistent loss. ألهذا جمعتنا, is this the reason why you gathered us together? I always wondered about this because this was the first, this event is when the mission was first publicized. Before this it was underground. This is what announces the Prophet's ministry to the public. So this is his first public speech. He stands on the mountain of Safa and he tells Quraysh, oh Quraysh, if I tell you that there is an army behind this mountain coming to attack you, would you believe me? He said, we've never heard you lie. He says, well, I am a warner before you, right ahead of a grave punishment. So Abu Lahab says, is this why you brought us together? Damn you. And try giving a speech with these words right now in any public square. How do you think you're going to be looked at? Look at them fools again. They're just like those Westboro Baptist Church, screaming and shouting that punishment is near. Well, I don't see the punishment. There's no punishment. You guys are just making it up. Why are you bothered by my own private lifestyle? I'm not hurting you. But we know that sins hurt everyone. I remember one time one of the brothers, he's an American, and he's studying in Saudi, and he's been there for many years, I think more than 20 years, or just about 20. He married a sister who was like born and raised there. She's Yemeni and she's very religious and she's a scholar, like she has a master's in Islamic studies. So then they came back in vacation. And they were sitting, he took her out to the beach and they were sitting, and then two couple were making out. And the wife got upset. And she's like, these people have no shame? They're making out in public? And her husband's like, yeah, people do that here. This is America. She's like, go tell them to stop. He's like, no. So she didn't even know much English. She went and she reprimanded them. She's like, this is not appropriate. You guys need to find a place to do that. Who does stuff like that now? Right now, if we see Muslims making out in the masjid, we wouldn't do anything. We'd turn the other way. I know youth groups where the youth are making out in the masjid. I've heard other things about, like when they go on retreats to cabins, they do other things. Does anyone say anything? If you say anything, what are you going to be considered? I'm just wondering. By the way, I don't say anything either, because that's why I still, I'm not completely banned yet. Yet is the key word, right? Because only you guys hear this stuff.
People probably think you're like bigoted.
Yes, you're bigoted, you're closed-minded, you're self-righteous, you think you're holier than me.
Backwards.
Yeah. Get with the times. فأنزل الله سورة المسد. This was the reason for the revelation of this particular surah. وبين فيها, and he clarified in it that Abu Lahab and his wife سيعذبان في النار, will be both punished in the hellfire. What's amazing is that this takes place early on in the ministry. So we're talking about the 3rd year after the Prophet's ministry. Abu Lahab got to live for 10 years and he could have disproved the Quran by believing. And he never did. This is one of the things people sometimes mention. I don't know if classical scholars ever mention this, but like some of the contemporaries mention this when it comes to like miracles of the Quran. Like this is a sign that it's from Allah. Because all these years, all Abu Lahab and his wife had to do was say, we're Muslim now. But they died on the same religion. They never changed and they never fixed themselves.
With the Prophet ﷺ and Abu Lahab considered like very close. You mentioned like he was very happy when he was born, and I believe one of the Prophet's daughters, so ﷺ, was married to one of his sons, right? Before they had divorce, when he started preaching.
That's Abu Jahl.
Is that Abu Jahl?
Yeah, that's Abu Jahl's sons.
Okay.
Yeah, Utbah and Utayba, both of them were married to the Prophet's daughters, or at least there were some type of engagement, and when the ministry started they decided to call it off. But yeah, for 40 years no one had issues with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as far as we know. Again, I don't know, there may have been some personal issues, but whenever we read about those first 40 years of his life, he had the greatest reputation. People loved him, people trusted him, people felt he was honest. He never engaged in any of the vices of society, but he wasn't calling out vices either. That's what differentiates between a messenger and a worshipper. A worshipper is on their own. It's like, look, I'm a monk, I go to a place and I worship by myself. The rest of the world, I don't care about it, they don't care about me. A messenger cannot do that. That's why once he received revelation, he never stayed in retreat in the mountain ever again. The retreat came to a stop. That's what he was doing. Yesterday we were talking about isolation here or somewhere else. Khalwa. That's what he was doing. Khalwa happened before he became a messenger, not after. After he became a messenger, there was never khalwa. He was never alone, except when using the restroom. That's very key. So this is a distinguishing thing between the pastoral style of the messengers and people who just are personally religious. Because we have that right now. So right now, someone may like love a righteous person because this righteous person never tells them that they're doing anything wrong. The righteous person just, they'll go, maybe, they'll see you engaging in bad things, they'll just leave you be. And that's everybody's favorite. People only don't like the ones who tell them to stop doing that. That's it. I guarantee you, I've seen it personally. If you speak in a way and make people feel good and just inspire people, no one will have a problem with you. So much so, you have big preachers. There's the most famous of them is called Joel Osteen. You guys know who Joel Osteen is? He's a white guy from Texas. I think the church is called Water Lake Church in Houston, Texas. The biggest mega church in America. They occupy the former Houston Rockets stadium. And that's their church. And they have 2 services, 35,000 each. So 70,000 people hear his Sunday sermon live, and millions hear it on TV. If you tune in, it's all about feeling good. It's a life coaching session. And he'll mention a few things in scripture, but he'll keep it very generic where he doesn't mention Jesus that much. He just says God or Lord. He just keeps it very generic. In the very end of the message, he says, I invite you all to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior on TV. But real Christians have a big problem with him because they're like, this guy is diluting the message. There is never talk of any negative consequence for actions. It's all about hope and hope and hope. Every single time. I remember one of the big masajid here, a mega masjid, they invited me to give a khutbah, and I said, so I want to know a little bit about your community. And the brother, at that time he was one of the board members, he says, I just want you to give a Joel Osteen khutbah. Now at that time, this is 2010, so about 10 years ago, right, 9 years ago. I had heard the name Joel Osteen, but I hadn't really followed him much. Because many Muslims religiously watch this guy. They get inspired by him. So I figured, he just wants something inspirational. And I did do something inspirational, I guess. So afterwards, he was so happy. He was like, man, you're the Muslim Joel Osteen. And remember how we were talking about popularity over the last couple of days? Any speaker who's going to use that method will be popular overnight. The only unpopular speakers are the ones who speak about negative consequences. The khutbah that I gave caused those people to offer me a 6-digit salary before I even graduated. So it can go a long way. Now guess what? If I took on that job, do you think I'll maintain Joel Osteen style or would I switch to Muhammad style? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The flip side is, this is what people are not aware of. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in the khutbah, this is how he's described. His face would turn red. His veins would come out of his skin on his neck and on his forehead. He would shout, and he would be like a person warning an army that your enemies are coming from behind you. Do you think that sounds inspirational? Oh, also his most constant theme in khutbahs was death. Ew. Who wants to hear that topic? The surah he read the most was Surah Qaf. Read Surah Qaf. It's only talking about death. Death, the day of judgment, how people start running away from each other and all that other stuff. Some women, Sahabiyat, said, we only memorized Surah Qaf because of how many times the Prophet read it in Jum'ah. Not in Salah, on the Minbar. What surahs does he read constantly in Jum'ah? سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, غاشية, الجمعة, منافقون. Those four. Look at the themes in these 4 chapters. This is what his whole preaching was. Not about current events. But right now, this is one of the requests to imams. Can you make sure to be relevant by including some current event in there? So that's why you have a khutbah called #MeToo. Because that's what everybody's talking about. Or a khutbah about Trayvon Martin. What does this have to do with people and their salvation in the next life? I mean, if I just mention to you all the topics, I gave a khutbah on Ferguson. Why would I do that? Something like that. What is Ferguson? In fact, the Muslims here, if they don't follow social media, they would have no idea what Ferguson is. Do you guys know what Ferguson is? You guys all know. Why? Because you're college age, and you don't know because you're just, I'm sorry. You're just too busy memorizing the Quran.
No, I don't have social media, that's why.
Yeah, that's why. Because if you're too busy memorizing the Quran, you're not going to have time to follow the latest trend. What's trending? Some people give khutbah by looking at what's trending this week. Some khutbahs are about songs. There's khutbah about Game of Thrones. Yeah, if I mention the names, you'll be shocked. But like, those are khutbahs. Why? Because this is what the people want. This is catering to people's desires. But if you give a khutbah about something just has nothing to do with this stuff, people are like, you're just backwards. That's why, like I said before, the Prophets ﷺ will not be popular. All these people who are Jesus freaks, if Jesus walks in right now, they would run away from him. They would not listen to him. They will not tolerate him. Same thing with Muslims who say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they cry if they mention his name. If he was to walk in, your first reaction would be to be afraid, because you've never seen a man that looks like him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So anyway, I want you to consider that Abu Lahab's response was not because he hated Muhammad. It's his own nephew in a tribal society where family really mattered. But Abu Lahab was so offended that he decided to call him out in front of people. So keep that in mind. Okay, Ma'ani al-Kalimat. Al-Ammu. It says, Akhul walidi, the brother of the father. Tabbat, halakat, which is to be destroyed or to be in a state of perpetual loss. Ma aghna, ma nafa'a, does not bring benefit. Kasaba, jama'a. Jama'a is to gather and to collect. Sayasla, yasla yadkhulu an-nara, he will enter into the fire. ذات لهب, ذات لهب, it means, where does ذات لهب come? سيصلى نارا ذات لهب. This is a description of the fire. The fire is ذات. That is one of Asma al-Khamsa, right? ذو مال ذات لهب. So it is described as having flames. So that's why he translates it as nar, a fire, mushta'ila, lit, muqada, raging. But in reality, that lahab just means having a flame. This lahab is flame. Abu Lahab is not flame. And this is important because in Arabic they make those analogies of things that people see. So, like, again, they will say about a brave person, he's a lion, because the lion is known as a brave animal or courageous. Imra'atuhu, he says zawjatuhu, wife. Hammalata, he doesn't even translate it, he just breaks it down to its roots. Hamala yahmilu. Hamala, past tense, he carried. Yahmilu, he's carrying. Tahmilu, she is carrying. طيب, what does Hammala mean? Carrier or porter, right? When it says porter, you're not missing out by not having social media.
I don't know. One time, my professor was, he was talking about like postmodern stuff. It was like all these lists of like songs and stuff. He noticed that I didn't know any of them. You should be aware.
Why? So that's the key, is why should I be aware? Is this going to bring me closer to Allah?
He doesn't care.
Exactly. But now we care. And now I want to question myself and many of my activities. I am doing them just to relate to my crowd. It will not bring me closer to Allah. It's going to distance me from Allah, because I'm wasting my time that I could be doing something better. But because I'm a public person, I have to know what people are thinking. I'm not justifying it. It's still wrong. I don't think it's okay.
So is it better to be like more oblivious
Yes.
and have people perceive me that way?
Yes, it is. Be like the prophets.
But they knew what was going on.
They were told through revelation. They didn't engage in it and see the filth with their eyes. They didn't go out of their way to voluntarily, what's that word? Contaminate their senses. Right? I remember in high school, some of the guys, this is before weed became lawful, they would smoke weed and they would smoke from a distance. And I still can smell it. Like, they were very far. They were like where the office is, but it would, because we were outdoors. And it would give me a severe headache, right? Do you think I needed to be there with them to see what they're doing? Like, does that help me at all? No. Exposing ourselves to filth desensitizes us of filth. That's one of the biggest problems of not being oblivious, is you become desensitized. When you're still on purity, you see something wrong and you turn your face because you can't handle it. But if it's constantly there, you start looking. And it's like, do you notice what she's wearing? No. That's it. It's like, yeah, why are you looking there? Well, because you're supposed to see and notice things, but you don't notice anymore. But guess what? Your eyes are still looking. Whether you notice it or not, your subconscious mind is noticing, and those things are stored somewhere in your boxes, you know? So, ask Allah to protect you. And that's also a blessing, because you are not in a public role right now. You're a student. You need to be educated. You need to be the best person you can be. So I would say it depends on the person and where they act, right? Sometimes we have to be exposed to certain things. But the question is that a price worth paying? Because I've seen people who were exposed and it destroyed them. It's not good. Why did this thing go to sleep? It still has something. Yeah, I don't think people are really missing out by not knowing. Like somebody recently, I read something. They said Game of Thrones, what season? 4 or 8? 8. They said 8th season. And now people just realize how bad of a show it is. I don't know what the show is, but apparently this is what somebody said yesterday. He says, in the beginning of Game of Thrones, people looked at incest as something sick. By the end, they all accept it, because apparently like incest took place in the Game of Thrones show. And then the person was saying, about, this was actually good, and I don't think this person is like very scholarly or anything like that. But I think it's worth reading. What's his name? I don't even know this person, but this one. This is what it says. This guy says, one of the most eye-opening aspects of Game of Thrones for me was how they took the audience from being absolutely disgusted with incest. Do you guys know what incest is? Incest is when immediate family members have sex with each other, like a father with his daughter, a brother with his sister, mother with her son. How they took the audience from being absolutely disgusted with incest in the very first episode to yearning for it in the final episode of last season. Personally, I stopped watching Game of Thrones back in 2014. That's like 5 years ago. It's still going on. When a mentor sat me down and forced me to be honest about the realities of what I was consuming with my eyes. That's the question. What are we consuming with our eyes? Did HBO help gradually shape my views on what is or isn't acceptable? So the same question is, did your education, 12 years in school in America, shape your views on what is and what is not acceptable? Only someone who's like in denial would refuse to accept that fact. The power of media is mesmerizing. There is a subtle process taking place in the minds of viewers. Subtle process. It's not one event. It's a process. We think it's just entertainment, not realizing that our ideology is being changed, subtly and quietly. The change is gradual and affects us on every level, individual and societal. This isn't meant to be a holier than thou post. He has to put this disclaimer, or people would discredit him. The things that he just mentioned before, although they're facts, as I'm learning right now, you say something and people tell you facts. You know that? Or that's like after your time?
No.
It's during your time? Yeah, I'll be talking to the brothers in chaplaincy and they're like, facts. Like, what is that? This isn't meant to be a holier than thou post. I struggle just as much as anyone regarding what I consume in the form of entertainment. I just hope we're able to, at the very least, be honest with ourselves. May Allah help us guard our senses from that which displeases Him. Yeah, I guess that's a start, to be honest with ourselves, because most people are not honest with themselves. They just lie to themselves. But my contention is worse than this. How certain religious personalities lie to everyone else. That's my contention, because what you do with your own life is one thing, but if I am influencing your misguidance, that's something that is terrible. A porter is a person employed to carry luggage and other loads, especially in a railroad station, airport, or hotel. Yeah. Yes.
I think he makes a very good point with the subtle process and changing ideologies, especially when you're watching for entertainment. You think that it's harmful. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of late night shows and stuff, daily shows, etc. And the way that they push the ideologies is through comedy. So like you're laughing and you're like enjoying it. But there's a lot of like ideologies being pushed on you, and you're like, and they come off as, of course, this is like truth. Like it's funny that it's that you can even think that it's not, and then you start like as you watch, you start adopting it.
Yeah. One of the first cassettes I listened to back in the cassette era, when you guys were not born yet, was talking about something, and it mentioned subliminal seduction in media. Subliminal seduction. So there are hidden messages that are infused in what we consume. And these people, by the way, I mean, if you read right now about entertainment, psychology is very much involved in entertainment. They study, like in marketing, especially in marketing. In the training that we have, there's a guy from Hollywood, and he's like, I'm all about, marketing and stuff like that. He's like, we employ the best psychologists in the world to tell us what is going to influence people's brains. You think it happens by accident, like the commercials and the billboards. Nothing happens by accident. There's studies behind all of these things.
One of the most valuable assets now is data, and data used by people in entertainment and obviously business and corporations so that they can get to you even better.
Yes. How are you thinking? What makes you tick? What interests you? So they're studying us. And again, they've been studying for a long time. But guess who has studied us more than anyone else? The devil, our biggest enemy. So he comes with creative ways to take us away from the path. And the scholars tell us that taking you away from the path is a gradual process. If the devil can't get you to become a disbeliever, he'll move to the next step, commit a major sin. He can't do that, minor sin. Can't do that, innovate in the religion. He's not going to give up. Can't do that, he'll take you away from doing the priority and let you do something not a priority. They're both good deeds. But it's like you'll be sitting in Jum'ah and instead of listening to the khatib, which is the priority, you'll be doing dhikr, which is a good deed, but it's not your priority. Right?
Sheikh, is it true, or is it Islamic, or is this idea that basically everybody in entertainment to some degree like worships the devil, basically the Illuminati?
Some of them do. Some of them are very open about it. The Church of Scientology is very involved in Hollywood. I mean, the biggest names are part of the Church of Scientology, and every once in a while you have one of their scandals coming up. Tom Cruise and people like him, they're all in the Church of Scientology. It's not a religion. It's a religion, but it's not a church. Like, it's not Christian. Then also there is Kabbalah, and Kabbalah is the mystic tradition of Judaism, which basically is magic. And many people in entertainment are involved in that. It's a very dark place. You have to do a lot of things to get around in those places. And you know this because some people who came out, I mean, they tell you what they experienced. But others call them, they're liars or they're paranoid or stuff like that, because it would shut down the industry if enough people talk about how bad it is. People don't like whistleblowers. Whistleblowers have to be shut down. What happened to Snowden and this guy? The Wiki guy, right? Nobody likes those things to be leaked out. Right? No one likes their privacy leaked out. So if people are plotting against humanity, they don't want to be exposed. They want you to think that they care for you. Like, do you think pharmaceutical companies really care about treating sickness? What do they care about? Profit. Right? Do you think the weapons manufacturers of the world, they care about establishing justice in the world? No. What do they? They sell to both sides. They sell to the Warriors and they sell to the Clippers. They sell to everyone. It's an equal opportunity market. Right? طيب. Al-Hatab is الشجر اليابس, trees that are dry. But it's not actually a shajar al-yabis, because you don't really use a dry tree to burn fire. Although it is fuel of the fire, that's why if you have a lot of dry vegetation, that becomes fuel to the fires in fire season. But hatab is the fuel of the fire, and most likely it's firewood, which is cut up and prepared for that. Jiduha unuquha. So that damir is damir muttasil, but the word is jid or unuq, and we already covered that, the neck. And masad, we said, is leaf. Leaf in the sense of it being a fiber that's twisted. Al-masad is twisted. It could also be a rope. There are some statements that say it's made out of metal, actually, to increase the punishment. So it's like metal that's heated on her neck. May Allah protect us. Okay, let's do the exercises now. Hopefully we can finish this lesson at least, because we've been on it all week. So let's go. Bismillah. التدريب الأول. Go ahead, Muna.
أكمل ثلاثة من النموذج. النموذج المشرك يؤذي المسلمين.
Okay. So what is happening here? We have a sentence. If you remove al-mushrik, it's a verbal sentence. It's jumla fi'liya. It says يؤذي المسلمين. But they're going to switch it to jumla ismiya by starting it with a mubtada, and they put al-mushrik. Okay? So now, all the words are basically the same, but the mubtada is going to be in different forms. It's going to be male, female, plural, dual, and so forth. Okay? So, first one. المشركة تؤذي المسلمين. So what did you change? What alterations did you make?
The verb.
And what else?
And
you added the mubtada, right? المشركة تؤذي with a ta, not يؤذي. Next, Iman. Good. المشركان يؤذيان what? Finish it.
المسلمين.
Good. المشركان يؤذيان المسلمين. المشركان يؤذيان. Okay. نجيب.
المشركتان
تؤذيان
المسلمين.
معاذ. مشركون يؤذون المسلمين. Very good. Okay, last one. Muna.
المشركات
يؤذين. Good. المشركات يؤذين المسلمين. Talking about exposure, protect yourself from exposure. In health, don't they say protect yourself from smoking? Protect yourself from saturated fats? Or do they tell you try it out so your body can start becoming immune to it? Protect yourself from certain gases. Protect yourself from hazardous materials. Protect yourself from diseases. In the hospitals, right? You have to wear gloves. If there is a needle, they throw it in a specific place. So even if you're removing the trash bag, that needle is not coming to you. Why is that? So why is it that with all these physical things, we're very careful? I mean, some people are like paranoid, right? So like before, I'm not gonna lie. In the bathroom, I don't touch the doorknob. I dry my hands and then I take the tissues or the napkin and I use that to open the doorknob. I don't want to hold that doorknob because I know everybody else doesn't wash their hands after using the toilet. Do you see them? They're there and then they go out. And I don't want to put my hand there, right? Why are we careful about these germs, which are physical germs, and we're not careful about spiritual germs? I don't know. I mean, I struggle with this. What you shared right now with late night TV, I remember, back in the day, I used to listen to some things. And mostly on the radio, which is like the clean version of rap music, because rap has a lot of filth in it. And then I got exposed to the stuff that's not on the radio. So the actual words are there. It's no longer censored. And with due time, my mother started telling me, "You're changing." I'm like, "No, I'm not. How can you say I'm changing?" She's like, remember I said yesterday, "I'm your mother. I know you." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." But when I reflect over it, I remember the first time I heard bad words on a song, my face got red. I literally, like my face got red, the hair like on my body just stood up. I could not believe what was happening on the song. But later on, desensitization, my face never became red anymore. I used to be in class, you know how like some students are shy, the teacher calls on them. I would get red-faced every single time the teacher called on me. I lost that. I never get red-faced anymore. Like it's rare right now when I get red-faced and I notice myself, I'm like, oh, that feels like a pure feeling. Like it takes me back to my purity days, you know? So that's something that is not within your control, because do you push a button to become red-faced? To get embarrassed? To get shy? No. What is that? Something in the subconscious mind. But it's like you've trained yourself by constant exposure not to feel that, because when you get red-faced, the blood is flushing through your face. That's what's happening. There is a physiological effect. But you've trained your body, don't do that. And then it doesn't happen anymore. So the thing that was reminding you of shame is no longer there. And right now in society, shame is like the biggest taboo word. Don't shame them. Don't shame them. What does that mean? Don't allow their guilty conscience to remind them that this is bad. Just let them do it. So please, if you have the ability, Allah has protected you, you have the Quran, keep that protection. Don't remove it. Do not remove it. You're not losing anything. And I hope I get good deeds by telling you this, because I sure do need them. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. التدريب الثاني. Go ahead. حول means switch and alter. Okay? حول. Well, what's interesting in modern standard Arabic, حول is like wire some money. تحويل, it's called تحويل. So like if you're going to wire money to your friend, that's called تحويل. Okay? ما منعت المرأة الماعونة. What that means is, ما is negation. The woman did not prevent assistance. Ma'un we covered before, right? In Surah Al-Ma'un. Assistance, even if it's something really small. So how do they change it? How did they alter it? لم So lam has to do with the past. She did not. Ma is doesn't or never will. So there is a difference between the two. Lam, never, in the past. Both of them are actually in the past. Both of them are in the past, but there is a slight difference in meaning. So لم تمنع المرأة الماعون. So this is the changing that we're going to have. The alteration is ما منعت and لم تمنع. ما منعت لم تمنع. Everything else in the sentence will continue to be the same. Okay?
So for the first one, instead of ma, it'd be lam.
Yep.
But I would change kasaba.
You have to change kasaba as well.
To future, or not, or present, because kasaba is past, you know?
Yes.
So,
Hold on. فعل. How do you do فعل in the past?
فعل in the past.
In the present. In the present. كتب. Put كتب.
كتب.
Now, if he's doing it now. نجيب. يكتب.
يكتب. So then it'll be لم يكسب.
لم يكسب.
لم يكسب خالد المال.
Yep. لم يكسب خالد المال. Why don't we have a kasra? Because lam does jazm. Okay? Lam is jazim. And Khalid had a fatha on it already, so we don't need to put a kasra for iltiqa as-sakinain like they did in their example. Now you have a problem, you didn't actually read the first sentence. The sentence itself before you altered it. Read.
وما كسب خالد المال.
المال ما كسب خالد المال. Khalid did not do what? Earn wealth. Khalid did not earn wealth. Lam means he never did. Okay? لم يكسب خالد المال. Next, Najib.
ما أغنى المال كافرا.
ما أغنى المال الكافر. What does that mean?
The wealth does not benefit the disbeliever.
Mm-hmm.
لم يغن المال للكافر.
Very good. لم يغني المال الكافر. So you just put a noon with a kasra. لم يغني. Not with a ya. لم يغني المال الكافر. Next. منى.
ما جاء عنه محمد
Mm-hmm.
لم يجيء
لم يجئ.
عنه محمد.
Yeah. لم يجئ.
Because of the sukun.
Yeah, because it's majzoom, we said. Now we can say yaji'u, but that's not majzoom. Ja'a yaji'u, but this is yaji' because it's majzoom. Okay, next, Iman. Ma. Read the first sentence first.
Oh, right.
The original sentence.
لبست.
لم ما لبست, yes.
فاطمة
Mm-hmm.
شيئا في جيدها.
ما لبست فاطمة شيئا في جيدها. Oh, we didn't, Muna, what is the translation of your sentence? We didn't do the translation.
Oh, the Muhammad's uncle did not come.
Okay, good. What's your translation, Iman?
She or Fatima wore
Ma
or
did not.
or Fatima did not wear the necklace.
شيئا. What's شيئا?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Shay. Something.
Something
She didn't wear something on her neck.
on her neck.
Fi is not only in. Some people think fi only means in. Can you wear something in your neck? That would require some type of operation. Don't do that. You got to wear it on your neck. So fi means on and it means in, depending on how it's used. Okay? So how do you fix it now? How do you alter it?
لم تلبس
لم تلبس. لم تلبس. And then again, سكون مجزوم.
Yeah, so wait, it would be لم تلبس.
And then the rest is the same.
Fatima.
Fatim, read the same.
لم تلبس فاطمة شيئا في جيدها.
Subhanallah, this example with germs is stuck on my mind now. You know how scientists, what do scientists do whenever it comes to diseases? We have something called the Center for Disease and what control? Disease and Sickness?
Isn't it just CDC?
Yeah, Center of Disease Control, that's it? Okay, Center of Disease Control. And a lot of the scientists come up with something called immunizations to eliminate certain diseases, like polio, for example. They've eliminated it. So if we recognize something to be a social ill, how much investment are we doing in elimination of social ills?
I don't even know if now we have
Everything is okay.
We could potentially.
I think places like IOP you could count towards an investment to decrease social ills. I think places like London.
Hopefully, we hope to be that. I mean, at least seminary. I can't speak on the school at all. But hopefully seminary, we try to do that. But we're just doing words, right? So when we say Center of Disease Control, they're doing a lot more than just words. It's not just them releasing publications. It's them pushing policy to stop these diseases. And what's happening on the social scale is the complete opposite of that. Pushing policy to normalize social ills. So it's just so interesting, subhanAllah. Okay, next. I just get carried away with you guys. It just brings amazing ideas to my mind. Yes.
That would make you very upset.
Why? You guys are okay.
Because like we'll bring something up and then you'd be like, that thing. And you'll just like go on about it.
No, I'm never upset with you guys. I learn with you guys and from you guys. So please keep it coming. Yes.
This might carry it a little further. So like the CDC, if there's like a virus or disease and it's really bad, they're in quarantine.
Okay.
Is there time for quarantine? Like,
In Islam, yes.
but for yeah, I'm saying for certain things like these, maybe.
In Islam, certain behaviors require you to be quarantined. Yes. So like quarantine in Islam is called hajr. Al-hajr is quarantine. So when someone becomes irresponsible, we're spending wealth, like when they're senile, they quarantine them from spending. They take their money away. They no longer have access to their money because they're just going to waste it, and they're not, like the people that need the money are not going to have it, their own family, for example. So the judge will issue a quarantine order. Yes. But right now, what are we telling people who are sinning? Publicize it. Tell the world. Make sure everybody is exposed to your filth.
Your narrative.
Like back in the day, they used to say, go get a hotel room. Now they're like, no, right here, do it in front of me in my living room. I mean, a huge difference between go get a hotel room and do it in privacy to no, you can do it in my face and I will validate you, I will, congratulate you. In fact, I'll join you. I mean, that's what's happening right now. They have something called open relationships. You guys know what open relationships are? It's so sick. Where both spouses, they make an agreement that we're going to see other people while we're together. That's like animals.
People are okay with that and then they hate on Islam because of the certain circumstances.
They hate on Islam because Islam says, no way on earth is this allowed. Oh, go on, please. Let's go back to Arabic. This one is nice. I don't know how you guys are going to do this. Mu'ad, that's you.
5.
Yeah, 5. No. This is not ra'a. This is a different word. Ra'a. Yeah, this one is a spiritual sentence. Tell me what it means. No, it doesn't appear. It doesn't appear here. This is pure past information that you may have in your spiritual classes. Let's put your spiritual classes to work right now. All the extra spiritual classes you're doing. What do you guys think this word is? Ra'a. No, that's ra'a.
Make other people see.
Make other people see. Show off. Show off. It's called riya, right? Riya is the verbal noun. The verb is ra'a. So you say, fulanun yura'i. We covered it. Alladhina hum yura'un. That's that. Did we not do that surah? You guys had me second guessing this one too, like yesterday, 2 days ago. So ma ra'a Muhammadun fi amalihi. What does that mean?
Muhammad did not show off in his work.
Or in his deeds. So amal here would be amal salih, typically. Because like riya, sometimes like some people tell me, they're like, don't look at me when I'm doing work. I'm like, I have to make sure you're doing it right. They're like, no, I don't want to show off. This is the time to show off. But no showing off is with righteous deeds. Right? طيب, so how do you fix it now? How do you alter it?
Lam, lam, we're going to presence.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be lam, yel, alam.
So look, the verb is this. Look, ra'a, and then it becomes yura'i. But here we're saying he didn't do it, so we say lam yura'i. Lam yura'i. We remove the ya because we're doing jazm.
Wait, what? It's third person, it's masculine, but is it singular, dual, or plural?
It's singular. It's Muhammad.
Why is there a kasra on the hamza? Like on here, not on the edge.
Lam yura'i. Because we took out a letter. It's in place of the letter that was taken out.
So for number 3, yajid, would you say yajid?
No. Because we didn't take a letter out. Yaji. Lam yaji, we said. Right? Lam yaji for number 3. Okay? اليتيمة ما دفع محمد اليتيمة.
Muhammad did not give the orphan.
دفع, what's دفع?
Give money?
No,
No.
that's in the market, that's in the store.
Okay.
But دفع literally means to push.
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 Muhammad did not push the orphan.
Uh-huh.
لم يدفع
Good.
لم يدفع محمد اليتيمة.
لم يدفع محمد اليتيمة. Good. منى.
ما هدم خالد البيت. ما يهدم خالد البيت.
Not ما.
لم يهدم.
لم يهدم خالد البيت. What does it mean?
Khalid did not destroy the house.
Or demolish. Next. Iman. صديقه. لم يؤذي. لم يؤذي. So آذى يؤذي, but since we're doing jazm, لم يؤذي. Okay. Next. Najib.
التدريب ثالثا
الثالث.
دع
Not دع. ضع.
ما كل كلمات من كلمات قائمة ما يناسبها في المعنى من كلمات.
So that's a typo. Not mina. من
كلمات قائمة بعد.
Okay, what does that mean? What does ضع mean? ضع means place. Like put. أمام كل كلمة. What's أمام? أمام is in front of.
place in front of every word from the words given in the bank.
From al-qa'ima. Qa'ima is the what's it called? Qa'im is like this. So is that called a?
Pillar?
It could be, but here, what is
Column?
column? Yes, column. From column A. ما يناسبها في المعنى, that which is corresponding to it, or yunasib is appropriate for it in meaning of the words in column B. So read al-qa'ima ba first.
قائمة باب هلك زوجة ليف عنق.
Okay, now do number 1.
جيد عنق.
Good. جيد is عنق. في جيدها حبل من مسد. Next, معاذ.
All that.
Huh? تبّ. Which one of the words is a verb?
حلك.
Not ha. هلك.
حلك. طب حلك.
تبّ, not طبّ.
تب.
تبّ is هلك. Good. Which means what?
Like destroy the.
Loss and destruction. Huh? Okay. Next. هنا.
امرأة زوجة.
امرأة زوجة. Okay. إيمان. مسد ليف. By the way, I just thought of something. You know, some people may, if they're not fair, they may claim that I am, pro Westboro Church, Baptist Church. So I hope that you guys don't get that understanding. But at the same time, I personally like to read what people say about themselves instead of what others say about them. In Arabic, they have a statement, they say, Isma' minni wa la tasma' anni. Hear from me and don't hear about me. Okay? So let's say you go to somebody and say, Ahmed is so great and he's so nice and he's full of whatever, full of it. I don't like that. I want the person to come and find out for themselves if I'm any of these things or none of these things. Likewise, which most likely is what happens, Ahmed is bigoted, he's X, he's Y, he's Z, and then people start having preconceived notions without even giving me a chance. You see? So when we hear about a group of people that are demonized in society, especially society that has become very corrupt. So you guys already know this as Muslims. Islamophobia, right? What do you tell non-Muslims? They come and talk to us and don't listen to the news. Right? But on the news, how do they show us? Don't they show us like these fools that are screaming and shouting? Don't they show us doing bad things? You can't, sometimes I argue with people, I'm like, you can't believe everything on the news. They're like, but I saw it with my own eyes. Okay, we have a big problem with you. So why are we allowing ourselves to hear about these people from their enemies? Like, do these people ever have positive coverage on the media? No. So should we not have some empathy actually to these people who are demonized? They're like, no, how dare you say that? They're terrible people. Are they violent? Well, they claim they are. You know what they claim about these people? Is they bomb Planned Parenthood clinics. Because what are Planned Parenthood clinics for? Abortions. Okay? You see? So now all of a sudden you demonize them. That's not okay. Same thing with, let's say, right now, people who are targeting the Muslim community may be like people on the right? Be be familiar with what they say, not what they say about you. Like, what are their grievances? And then, if these grievances are something you agree with, maybe mention that. Like, what a brilliant idea. Guys, we're just like you. We care about family values. We're not happy with the destruction of the family. They don't know that. As far as they know, the Muslims have allied with the left, and the left is about destroying family values. So what do they see us as? They're enemies. Why would you pick a fight that's not yours? Right? So that's the point, is don't hear about people who are being demonized. See if that demonization is warranted or if it's completely bogus. Maybe it is warranted. Like, let's say you see on the news, gangsters are bad. Okay, cool. They have a bad lifestyle. Does that mean every person who's gang affiliated is bad? If you say that, that means you have no clue about how humans work. A gang in the inner city is a family. Everyone on that block is from the gang, even if they don't do any criminal activities. It's like saying Palestinians are terrorists. No. Is every Palestinian fighting the occupation even? No, some Palestinians are pro-occupation. Some of these people on that block in the gang work for the cops. They're actually informants. So you can't just stereotype a whole group of people. Sometimes it's just a fact that these are my family members. That's all. I can't disown my family members. So I'm not pro WBC. You know what WBC is? Westboro Baptist Church. But I believe that some of their, this is what I am going to say. If they quote the Bible, that's very serious for backing up some of their claims. Especially if they are more accurate in their interpretations of the Bible than some of the people who are normalizing these sins. Also, what I like to do is read the history of people. Like, why did these people even start? So they said 1955 is when they first started. What started them? What happened? Do you know what happened in those years in America? This is post-World War II. Do you know what happened post-World War II? And in World War II, women started working in this country. You know what that happened? What that did? Of course, it challenged gender roles, but it did other things too.
Began destruction of the family.
Yes, it began the breakup of the family, because you're no longer interdependent. You are independent. What's the difference between interdependence and dependence?
Depend on one another, you depend on.
Yeah, a family is interdependent. Independent is, I don't need nobody else. And then this independence no longer becomes financial. It's like, I don't need you for making love. I can make love with someone else. No longer dependent on your spouse. I don't need you to find fulfillment. There are so many other avenues to find fulfillment. It's like a complete divorce of what people were taught. Even in America, I'm not talking about Islam here. This is Americans and how they live their lives. And it's a process since that time.
It was so interesting in one of my classes, it's like about like family structures. And so basically, we had like an article that gave two different viewpoints. It's like the marriage, like that marriage, the idea of marriages are like falling apart, or that marriages are actually more resilient because they're like less existent than the ones that exist. It's because of like independence and empowerment and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like from the responses that I read, I was the only one who believed that it was because family values are breaking down. Like everyone else was this like saying that the the non-existence of marriage,
Dissolvement.
is positive. And it felt so weird. I was literally the only one.
Yes, I believe you. I believe you. Yeah. Okay. Come on. تدريب الرابع. منى.
إلا الفراغات.
So read الكلمات first.
عنه يؤذي مسد الحطب يصلى الحمال اليابس.
Okay. املأ الفراغات means
Fill in the blanks.
fill in the blanks or fill in the empty place. Okay. First one.
الحمال يحمل الحطب.
Good. What does that mean?
The carrier,
No, give us the word you used before.
the porter is carrying the firewood.
Good. Next. Najib.
يصل الكافر النار.
What does that mean?
The disbeliever will into the fire.
Yeah, enter or burn in the fire. How dare you say such a judgmental statement? Shame on you, Najib. I'm setting you all, guys, all of you are set up now because you're all being recorded saying these statements. If any of you act up, I'm just going to expose everybody. No, actually we can't because we have confidentiality. So what happens here stays here. Go ahead, Najib. Sorry, not Najib. Mu'ad.
حلك أبو لهب لأنه كان مسد.
Hold on, man. Slow down. Read the whole thing first and think about it.
هلك أبو لهب لأنه كان.
The sentence is not done. Read the rest of it.
النبي عليه صلى الله عليه.
النبي لأنه كان blank النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Is this Amr?
كان is what? What is it going to have after it?
Sorry, listen.
Not here, because it's not in the beginning of the sentence. لأنه كان. What did he used to do to the Prophet ﷺ? Hold on, tell me. What did Abu Lahab used to do to the Prophet?
Demean, torture.
Okay, which word is that?
I'm not sure.
Turn the page.
Is it UFD?
Yes, it is. That's his crime. هلك أبو لهب. Why is he destroyed? What caused him to be in trouble? لأنه كان يؤذي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. يؤذي النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. Okay, Najib.
أبو لهب عم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم.
أبو لهب عم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. Very good. منى.
في عنق امرأة أبي لهب حبل من مسد.
What does that mean?
On the neck of the wife of Abu Lahab is a rope from fire.
Well, no, masad is not fire, it's what? Fiber. Remember? Surah Al-Masad. Fiber, twisted fiber. Right?
Yeah, I heard it wrong.
It's okay. Yes? Iman? Al-Yabisi. Because it's sifa, so it's going to have the same i'rab as the mawsuf. Very good. النار مشتعلة في الشجر اليابس. What does that mean?
It means the fire.
مشتعلة
Not sure.
is burning or raging or lit.
Is lit with fire.
شجر. What's شجر?
Trees.
يابس. Yabis is dry. Dry tree. Dry tree is fuel to the fire. Last one.
حمل الحمال بعض الحطب.
Very good. What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
Yes, you are. Hamala. What's hamala? What's hamala, folks? Carry. He carried.
Oh yes. He carried firewood.
Who is he?
Abu Lahab.
No. The sentence he just did. Al-Hammad. Who's Al-Hammad?
Oh, sorry.
Isn't that the word you put in?
Al-Hammal? Yeah. Carried.
Okay.
Oh, what did he carry? I don't know what oh no.
You do know. Don't say I don't know. This is like a cop-out.
He carried.
No, Hammal is the carrier, the porter.
Okay, so the porter carried firewood
Mm-hmm.
somewhere.
What does it say?
Apple?
Hatab is firewood.
Oh.
Huh? Ba'd is some firewood. The porter carried some firewood. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
It's just that this was us. Two classes.
Yeah, message board was supposed to be.
Facebook notified me today about something. laughing?
I don't know what they notified you about. What they notified you about, Mr. Moss?
What they notified me about?
Yeah.
Um,
Before you say what they notified you about, is Iman laughing because she doesn't know what you're gonna say or she knows what you're
That
gonna
was
say?
I'm assuming that I know what it is.
Oh.
no, Facebook's just cool.
No,
A lot, about a lot of things. And there's this, I don't know, I woke up in the morning, I was getting ready for school,
Uh-huh.
got a notification from Facebook. So thank you, Facebook. It said something about one of my teachers actually. And I guess today
Uh-huh.
is
Today? What's the day?
was a very special day.
It's a very special
for the
day.
teacher. And that he was most likely born on this day.
Most likely?
Most likely.
Most
some people
likely.
have fake birthdays.
Facebook is not accurate. It is speculative.
The only time I usually question a Facebook birthday if it's January 1st. Because some people are actually January 1st babies and some people are...
Some people just like immigrated here and like made it their birthday. So like a lot of old grandparents who have their birthday on January 1st. Just like, okay, I believe you.
Right, did you also watch them kind of?
Who's sitting next to you?
G.
What'd you do to him?
I didn't do anything. Sure. He went to the bathroom.
And why is first year so depleted right now?
We have theories.
What are your theories?
Oh, that there could be, like, as the week goes on, the chances of getting a quiz increases.
No.
Oh my gosh, no.
No.
Okay.
Oh man. I was like,
But that would have been really epic, right? That would have been really good.
That was driving me.
When she said, "Oh no," I was like, "Man, should I just pull it?" Because I have the empty. I was like, "This would be the greatest."
Wow.
The "oh no" on her face is so epic right now.
Because I'd probably do worse.
What are your other theories besides as we go further in?
I think everyone has their weeks where they're just like, I had mine a few months back. That's my theory.
Yeah, but that was kind of,
Everyone's weeks kind of coincided. And
or it's been coinciding.
it's also true.
Seems like everyone's not having a week, everyone having weeks.
I'm sorry.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So that was good. How you doing?
So you got any plans?
I actually forgot up until like late last night,
Did you also realize?
and someone kind of reminded me. They're like, "Hey, I just want to say," I was like, "Huh?" I looked at. I was like, "That's so weird," because I looked at the calendar multiple times today for different things, and I kept seeing that it was the 17th because I was like, "Is it the 16th, the 15th? What's the date?" And I kept seeing it's the 17th, it's the 17th, it's the 17th. Yesterday, right? And I was like, not once did it click in my head. I was like, how did I not?
Is that something that occurs
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of see it in the calendar and then, like, you know, days leading up. But I don't know. I just had one of those weeks where I missed it. Do I have anything planned? No. If I could get some extra sleep in, and that'd be a birthday well spent.
I feel like it's more likely more noise.
Huh?
I feel like it's more likely going to be more noise.
It's more likely going to be more noise. I wouldn't be surprised. Was gonna do fiqh, but it's like so depleted right now. Najib, you were sick, right, for a few days?
Yeah.
Were you in school? No, right?
Where?
You, like, no.
Right now? No.
Yeah, no, right? You graduated basically a year ago.
For the
June-ish?
most complicated, but yeah, like summertime I stopped school.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like 99% graduated.
You're 99% graduated.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Okay.
Basically, I have a thesis to turn in, and that's my last thing.
You have a thesis to turn in?
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. It's
Why would you have a thesis?
so okay. So for the end of my senior year, I was working on the senior thesis with like an advisor.
Okay.
So I was continuing.
Do you have to do a senior thesis?
I don't, but in the beginning of the year, I agreed to it, and that was part of my. Basically, I had credits on that. My remaining credits.
Got it.
And then when my father passed away, things became complicated, and they gave me legal time to finish it. I'm finishing it right now.
Oh, so you're finishing it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you technically walk or not?
Yeah,
You did
I did.
last year.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So now it's just like diploma basically itself.
Gotcha. So you did the thesis instead of taking a class.
Yeah, no, so
It
I was
was
taking classes, but basically that covered units itself.
that covered units itself.
Yeah, that covered basically the one I'm waiting on right now is the last 4 units.
Got it.
Covers it.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And when do you have to turn it in?
Yeah, by the end of this quarter, so like 6 weeks.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. We're going to do Arabic, but before we do Arabic, take out your fiqh packets. Go to the section on wudu. Go to the section on wudu. There's a slide where it mentions the Hanafis, the obligations of wudu for the Hanafis. And it mentions 4. Yes? Find it? What page is it, Mona? 8. Did you find it?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
Yeah, you found it. Okay. Really quickly going over this because someone had a question yesterday. But so the Hanafis have 4 obligations in wudu, right? Which are the 4 body parts, right? I want you to make a note on the slide somewhere separately, right? Just put like the Shafi'is, right? So we'll go through what are the obligations for wudu according to the Shafi'is. So you could put for number 1, put an-niyyah. An-niyyatu. And then put under that or put next to that, depending on how you write it, put 2 through 5, like number 2 through 5 are the body parts that were mentioned by the Hanafis. Does that make sense? So number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the 4 in total that are mentioned by the Hanafis.
I didn't get that.
So number 1 for the Shafi'is was the niyyah, the intention, right? And then number 2, 3, 4, and 5,
Oh, got it. They're the same ones.
the same 4 that are mentioned by the Hanafis, right? And then number 6 would be at-tartib. So number 6 is at-tartib. Which is, at-tartib is the order or the arrangement, meaning that 2 through 5 have to be done in order, the order that is mentioned in the Quran. After that, we have the Malikis. For the Malikis, they have a total of 7. Number 1 would once again be an-niyyah. Number, once again, 2 through 5 would be the 4 that are mentioned by the Hanafis. Number 6 would be, it's one of 2 words, or you could write both, right? Ad-dalku, or at-tadliku. Write that and then I'll explain what it is. It is, ad-dalk is basically using your hand to wipe over the body part. So simply, the other madhahib, they say that, let's say hypothetically you have a sink or a faucet and you run your arm under it, right? And everything that needs to get wet gets wet, you would be fine, right? The Malikis, they specifically say that no, you have to use basically, in this case, whether it's if you're doing the arms and the feet, right? The face, naturally you have to, right? You can't, unless you put it under the sink, right? Generally you have to with the face, right? But with the arms and the feet, there's ways you could not do it, right? But they say from the obligations of wudu is that you use the hand to basically make sure the water touches, and whether it's this side of the hand or this side of the hand, but it's basically using the hand to wipe over the body part. So that's number 6, right? And then number 7 would be al-muwalatu. Al-muwalatu, I referred to it previously, but al-muwalatu is basically that you wash, it's basically to do it continuously. So without a stoppage in between. Now what do they define as a stoppage? That by the time you wash the next body part, the previous one has not dried. So technically you can stop, right? But the stop cannot be long enough where if you were to wash the next body part, the previous one that was washed dried. And then the last is the Hanbalis. The Hanbalis also have a total of 7. One is an-niyya again. Two through 5 are what they've been for the previous 2, which are the 4 that were mentioned by the Hanafis. But after you write 2 through 5 and you mention, whatever you've been mentioning, right? So you're writing 2 through 5 and then you're saying whatever was previously mentioned, right? Next to that, write that along with the washing of the face is included the washing of the mouth and the washing of the nose. So technically number 2 is washing of the face, right? Number 1 is niyyah. Number 2 is washing of the face. So number 2 would be washing of the face along with washing of the mouth and washing of the nose. Then 3 would be washing of the hands from the tips of your fingers until your elbows, including your elbows. And then number 4 would be, what would number 4 be? Wiping your head along with the ears, along with cleaning the ears. So they specifically add the ears here. So in the face they add the mouth and the nose, and in the head they include the ears. And then number 5 would be washing of the feet. Number 6 would be at-tartib. At-tartib. Who else had at-tartib? The Shafi'is, right? So number 6 would be at-tartib, which is keeping the order or the arrangement of the washing.
So all obligatory?
Yes, according to the Hanbalis. And then number 7 would be al-muwalatu, which was found also by the Malikis. Which is that it's continuous in the sense that the break is not long enough, where that if you were to wash one body part, the previous one has not dried. So the Hanafis have 4, the Shafi'is and the Shafi'is have 6, and the Hanbalis and the Malikis have 7. Yes? What you guys have? So hypothetical situation. I walk into the bathroom, I use the bathroom, right? Leave myself. On my way out of the bathroom, I wash my hands. And because I'm preoccupied, not because it's time for prayer, but I wash my hands. After I wash my hands, because I'm thinking about 10 different things, for some random reason, with no intention in mind, right? I begin to wash my feet. My right foot, then my left foot, or even my left foot, then my right foot. Then I wipe over my head. Then I wash my hands and my arms. And then I wash my face. Then I walk out, go send some emails, go do some work. A few hours later, the time for salah comes. And I'm like, time for salah comes. Let me go make wudu. Then I realize that, you know what, technically, I'm remembering when I left the bathroom for some odd reason, although I didn't intend to make wudu, I guess I did it because I did all the body parts. So I'm like, I'm just going to pray. According to which madhab, or according to any madhab, would I have wudu? Huh? In the Hanafi madhab, I would have wudu. I would have wudu. Let's use the same scenario. Right? But this time I have the intention to make wudu. So I have the intention to make wudu. So I start by washing my left arm. Then I wash my right foot. Then I wash over my head. Then I wash the foot and the arm that I had not washed. And then I wash my face. According to the Hanafis, I have wudu. According to who else do I have wudu as well? The Malikis, right? Because there was muwala, it was continuous, but there was no tartib. They don't require any tartib, right? But for it to be a correct wudu, according to the Malikis, I had to do one more thing when I did this random haphazard wudu. Which was? No, I did more.
Use your hands.
Huh?
Use your hands.
The concept of dalk, right? Tadliq, right? I'm using my hand to wipe over my arms and my feet, right? So generally in wudu, right, we could say the Hanafis are the most lenient in terms of having the least restrictions, and the Hanbalis have the most restrictions, right? The only concept that we find that no one else mentions, that one madhab only mentions it, is the Malikis and their concept of a dalk or a tadliq, right? Besides that, we find, at least two madhabs sharing in something that, the other two don't, right? The one thing that perhaps also the Hanbalis share in that no one else does is obligating as we mentioned earlier, the mouth and the nose, as well as the ears with the wiping of the head. Is that clear?
And the order of the arms, right?
The order is also mentioned by the Shafi'is.
But from washing from the tip of the fingers to the elbows, that's an obligation, right, for Hanbalis?
What do you mean?
Wasn't that number 3?
Number 3 was?
For the Hanbalis, washing from the tip of the fingers to the elbows?
Yeah, but that's for everyone.
Oh, that's for everybody.
Yeah.
That's an obligation.
Yeah.
I know that washing of the arm is an obligation.
So washing of the hand the hand including the arms.
So it's not the fact that it starts from here that ends to here. It's the fact that the hand is included.
Yes.
That's what's...
The obligation for everyone is that you have to wash the hand and the arm.
Right.
And the hand is defined from the top of the fingers up until including the elbows. The obligation for everyone is in this entire surface area.
Okay. So then why did we specifically mention it? Okay, maybe I missed...
No, the reason I mentioned it when I got to the Hanbalis, instead of just saying 2 through 5, right? I went through 2 through 5 specifically, was because I wanted to say in 2 to include the mouth and the nose in 2. So 3 I just mentioned because it was there. Like, hey, the hands from the tip of the fingers to the elbows, which was normal for everyone else as well. And then 4 I also made an addition, besides wiping of the head, to include the ears.
Okay, I thought, from what I heard, I think it meant that you have to start at your fingertips and go to your elbows.
No.
But that's not the case.
No. I mean, technically you can start at your wrist and go down and then go back up. That wouldn't be an issue. Okay? Right, then the issue would also arise, and I think I've mentioned this before previously, right? And we'll talk about ghusl perhaps tomorrow a little more, although we talked about it yesterday, is that when you take a shower to cool off, right? Right, we've talked about this before. When you take a shower to cool off, right? And you've cooled off, your entire body's gotten wet, right? And you walk out of the shower, and then a prayer time appears or comes, do you have wudu or not? Huh?
And it depends on who you ask.
It depends on who you ask, right? So generally for the Hanafis, it's all good. You have wudu, right? You wet the body parts, right? For the Malikis, that shower when you were cooling off, right? Or just because you were sweating, because you felt dirty, not even you needed, right? It wasn't, you weren't in a state of major ritual impurity, but just because you felt sweaty, you took a shower, and you made the intention that this shower is also going to be my wudu. You walk out, you're fine, right? Huh? Yeah, with hands, right? But with the Shafi'is and the Hanbalis, you specifically would not only need the intention, but you would need the order, right? Like, believe me, this is like, for me, this is like one of those issues that always gets me once in a while. Like, in the sense of, like, you take a shower to cool off, and then you get out of the shower, right? And then you're like, oh God, you're like, I didn't make wudu. I'm like, oh no. Because, like, you know, after you get out of the shower, then you dry yourself, and then you, like, basically gotta wet yourself all over again. It's like, right.
I mean, would you technically take the opinion of the Hanafi method regarding all of, like, the wudu regulations and requirements, and be like, Hanbali in, you know, all other areas of rulings, except the Hanafi ruling resonates with me specifically about wudu.
Resonates with me as in I find it easier?
Not easier, but say like the proofs themselves you find more appealing and stronger.
But what if I don't?
No, but hypothetically
Hypothetically, yeah. Right?
Isn't that like picking and choosing?
To a certain extent.
it
Unless
would be
you felt it was stronger. So we mentioned the obligation, right, of the intention, right? And we said that this is what the majority, right? The majority, they say you have to have intention. Now, where do they get intention from? Because all three of them mention it. You know, the tartib, the muwala, whatever, right? We can, right? The tartib, the order, is something that the Hanbalis and the Shafi'is require, right? Why do they require it? What is their proof of requiring it? What can you think of? No, what's their proof of requiring the order?
Using the parents mentioned.
Huh?
Using the parents.
Because one, so the Maliki, the Shafi'is and the Hanbalis, they say, well, we look at the Quran, the same place we got the 4 obligations from, it's the same place we find those 4 acts mentioned in a specific order, right? And it's also when we look at the wudu of the Prophet ﷺ, we never find him breaking that order, right? So that's one proof, right? Also, we find the majority, the other 3 schools besides the Hanafis, they obligate the intention, right? What is their proof for obligating the intention? Maz mentioned one, right? The hadith, the famous hadith of the Messenger of Allah, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Indeed, actions are by intentions. But there's also another proof for intention that the majority use that's within the verse of wudu.
Is it?
So Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, O you who believe, إِذَا قُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ. If you stand for prayer. When you stand for prayer, is it an intention? Like you've intended to stand for prayer, right? Correct? And then he says, if you intend to stand for prayer, then do these things. Basically, perform wudu in this specific manner. Correct? Do you get it? If you intend to stand for prayer, then do these things. And this is how your wudu is complete. But if you didn't intend to stand for prayer and you did these things, your intention was lacking, and didn't Allah say if you intend to? This is what they use as a proof for theirs from the Quran. Right? Do you guys see it? Like how they looked at very, very specific things. Is that clear?
Yeah, but it's also, I don't know if this is like just lacking of understanding, but you could also say, well, aren't you, it doesn't necessarily say intend to do wudu either, it's not clear.
If you, sorry, say it again.
Like it doesn't, but it also, on the other hand, it doesn't explicitly say, like, you have to intend to do wudu.
So it doesn't, you're right, it doesn't explicitly say it, right? But it does say that, look, if you intend to pray, then this is what you have to do, right? Like for your prayer to count. You've had to have the intention to pray and then you do these things. Yes, there's a level of it that is, that's not explicitly mentioned, right? But then we could respond with generally all actions that you do, like you have to have an intention. Just like for example, when you pray Salat al-Dhuhr, right? And you get up, let's just say you get up, you're like, I feel like praying right now, right? It's Dhuhr time, but you're like, I just feel like praying right now. So you pray 4 rak'ahs, exactly the way the Dhuhr is prayed. You said, oh, the Dhuhr time entered 15 minutes ago. Well, I prayed 4,
Does your intention have to happen before you start the actual salah?
Yes, your intention has to start before you start the actual salah, right? You cannot,
It's just like halfway through
go retroactive, right? For example, a situation that I've heard before, right, which your prayer would not count here. For example, let's say you wake up and you're really, really tired, right? You're like, whatever, it's Fajr time, it's morning, and you're like, I'm going to pray my Sunnah and then I'm going to pray my Fajr. So you say Allahu Akbar, and then like through your Fatiha in the first rak'ah, oh gosh, I'm so tired. Like, this is Fajr. This is not the Sunnah. Take the day off from the Sunnah. This is Fajr, right? Right? And you're like, I got this, right? No, that will not count as your Fajr.
Wait, for which method?
This is across the board.
Really?
This
You
is.
just exposed yourself.
Believe me, I know this happens a lot. Gotten this question before. I know this happens. Say Allahu Akbar and I'm like, that's Fajr. Can't do it.
So why do these
Now you can't. So generally, what a lot of the scholars they say is you can't go from a lower intention to a higher intention. What they mean is you can't go from some, like you've started praying Sunnah, you can't make it now Fard, right? You can't go, but you can go from a higher to a lower. What's the situation of that?
The same thing in Fajr, you forgot that you prayed Sunnah, so then you start praying Fajr, but then you're go straight.
Yeah, right. Or for example, let's say you pray, like you're praying Dhuhr. In Dhuhr, you realize, like I prayed Dhuhr 30 minutes ago, right? Okay, well now this is just a general Sunnah prayer. Does that make sense? Some madhahib are specific about the example that you gave, going from Fajr to a specific Sunnah. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some scholars are specific that you can't go from like a Fard to a specific Sunnah.
So you can't do that for Dhuhr either, so like...
Yeah, but in the other situation, where like I'm like, hey, you started praying Dhuhr, but then you realize I prayed Dhuhr already. So this is just going to be like an extra prayer now. This prayer that I'm praying that I started at Dhuhr, it's just going to be an extra prayer. Does that make sense? But you can't be doing that with Fajr. I know it happens with Fajr. If it happens with any prayer, it happens with Fajr. Yeah.
So why is it that the Hanafi method only applies the intention, or doesn't apply the intention when it comes to wudu, but for all other actions they do? So like for prayer, for instance, like you need that intention.
So they go literally based on the verse. They say it's not there in the verse, and we're just gonna stick with what's apparent in the verse. And I think they believe that like wudu is a means to an end. Do you see what I'm saying? Wudu is done. Yes, it has its purpose, but essentially it's done for another purpose. It's done for another reason. So So they're saying that if it was done and if it was fulfilled, then that as long as you do that other action with its intention, then you can do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the act of doing wudu almost intuitively implies that you're going to be praying. Or
No, it's like basically wudu in itself is not the goal necessarily, right? Because we talked about this concept of ما لا يتم الواجب إلا به فهو واجب, that which you cannot complete a wajib without, so you cannot complete prayer without wudu, also becomes a wajib. So wudu becomes a obligation as well, right? But at the end of the day, still, like, there's a direct link between prayer and wudu, or even tawaf and wudu, right? Or holding a copy of the Quran and wudu, right? Because your intention is to read Quran or to make tawaf or to pray, right? As long as you fulfill the general requirements of the wudu, then you didn't need to have intention specifically to do wudu.
Would the person who constantly only does the fard acts of wudu be liable to sin for like leaving off the sunnah?
A good majority of scholars, they said that if someone leaves off the emphasized sunnahs, right, whether it's in prayer or just even the sunnah prayers or even the sunnahs in wudu, that it is possible that they are liable or deserving of punishment, because that action in itself, or that inaction, right, it seems to show within itself a dislike for the sunnah or a disdain for certain aspects of the way of the Messenger of Allah. But if someone were to, like, let's say 8 out of every 10 times, when they perform wudu, just do the obligations, right? This wouldn't apply. This is someone that just kind of like literally just abandons it. We good? What's interesting is perhaps tomorrow when we come to tayammum, right, which you can understand as dry ablution, right, which can be a replacement for both wudu and ghusl, right, depending on the situation. The Hanafis in tayammum, like everyone else, they require intention. In tayammum, they require intention.
Why is that? Because where we learned about tayammum, intention was explicitly mentioned?
No, because, so they say so they say basically when you do wudu, it's essentially washing, right? It's just washing, right? But when you do tayammum, it's like really you're doing something out of the ordinary. Like, and you're doing it for a purpose. Like, you have to have this purpose because you're doing it to replace something. Because tayammum is not a normal solution, right? It's only in place to replace wudu or ghusl, right? So if you're going to do tayammum, right, you better have the intention, because this is something that's replacing what the actual ruling is or the original ruling is. You can't just be striking ground, wiping your face and wiping your arms, right? And then when prayer time comes and be like, you know what, I don't have water, and I already struck the ground because I was just striking the ground randomly, right? So let me use this as my, right? It's a little more far-fetched that you're just gonna start striking the ground and be like, because now you're like kind of retroactively doing that, right? You're saying, hey, I don't have water to make wudu and ghusl, but I did do some striking of the ground, so let me use that striking of the ground to replace my wudu and ghusl that I can't do right now, and let me pray now, right? It's like, it's a stretch, it's a far stretch, right? So we find in tayammum, they required the intention. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Because once again, you're not just gonna, like,
Rolling around in
what are you doing? Right? Yeah, you're just gonna roll around in dirt. Okay. I didn't intend to do a fifth session, but kind of turned into one. Okay. Okay. Let's open our books to page 223. السؤال الثاني on page 223. I know we did, I can't remember, how many did we do of them? Anyone remember?
I think we just did the first one.
Just the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Najib, read the first one again.
استيقظ زيد في الصباح الباكر
في الصباح الباكر
فتوضأ وصلى الفجر.
نعم, which means
Zayd woke up in the morning.
in the early morning.
And made wudu and prayed his fajr.
نعم. Make it أنا. Change it.
استيقظت
نعم. استيقظت
في الصباح الباكر فتوضأت وصليت الفجر.
Good. One more time.
استيقظت في الصباح الباكر فتوضأت وصليت الفجر.
نعم. Maz, that same one. Instead of أنا, let's make it عائشة. استيقظت
عائشة في الصباح الباكر
فتوضأت. It's the same thing you did to استيقظت. وصلت الفجر. Read it back. عائشة.
عائشة في الصباح
و
استيقظت
استيقظت.
عائشة في الصباح الباكر فتوضأت
وصلت
الفجر.
نعم. إيمان الطلاب, the students, same one. Yeah, but it's at the beginning of the sentence.
So we can just say استيقظ.
نعم.
الطلاب في الصباح الباكر
Why you guys keep all skipping the wow? وصلوا
الفجر.
Good. Again. نعم. Najib, same one. Al-akhawani, the two brothers. Al-akhawani.
استيقظ الأخوان في الصباح الباكر فتوضأ وصلى الفجر.
Good. وصلى الفجر. Good. أنتم يا ماس.
Yeah. Istayqadhu.
أنتم, that's whom.
Oh, istayqadhtum.
استيقظتم.
Istayqadhtum. Say, or do I need to even say Zay?
No.
Okay. استيقظتم في الصباح الباكر فتوضعتم
نعم. وصليتم.
الفجر.
Good. One more time.
استيقظتم في الصباح الباكر فتوضعتم وصليتم الفجر.
إيمان. أنتن. What was yours, Maz? Yours was antum, and how did you change it?
I added tab.
Okay, so how did you say it?
استيقظتم.
Okay, so Iman, if yours is antunna, yes. Mm-hmm. Wa. Good. Najib, anti.
استيقظت في الصباح الباكر فتوضأت وصليت الفجر.
Good. One more time.
استيقظت في الصباح الباكر فتوضأت وصليت الفجر.
Good. Maz. نحن. We.
استيقظنا في الصباح الباكر فطوعنا وصلينا الفجر.
Good. Iman, it says Zayd, so we're going to say Zaydun wa Khalidun. It would stay the same because it's coming at the beginning.
Okay, so is there on that? Right?
Yeah.
زيد وخالد في الصباح الباكر. So would it be الباكر فتودع
Yes. فتوضأ.
وصلى
الفجر. نعم. وصلى الفجر.
When the verb comes in the beginning, it can only be one.
It can only be singular masculine or singular feminine.
But why did
Unless it's in the second person. So if it's in the third person, it's going to be singular masculine or singular feminine.
Okay.
Okay? But if it's in the second person, if it's anta, it's going to istayqadhta. If it's anti, istayqadhti. If it's antuma, istayqadhtuma. Antum, istayqadhtum. And antunna, istayqadhtunna. And then ana and nahnu, istayqadhtu and istayqadhna. Okay? But if it's third person, and the verb comes first, then it will be singular masculine or singular feminine. Okay, number 2, Najib.
دخل الطالب في الفصل وسلم على الأستاذ.
Good. What does it mean?
The student entered the classroom and gave salams to the teacher.
The teacher. Okay, so it wants you to replace at-talib with hum. Right? So we're just going to replace it with, instead of at-talib, we're going to make it at-tullabu.
دخل الطلاب في الفصل وسلموا على الأستاذ.
Good. One more time.
دخل الطلاب في الفصل وسلموا على الأستاذ.
No. Good. Maz. Anta. Same one. أنا. أنا. You don't need student anymore.
You said what I do? Listen,
أنا. Did I say أنا or did I change it on him?
I think you said anta.
Oh, I said أنت? Okay, so just change it to أنت then.
Oh, I don't know how to do that either.
Yeah, you do.
دخل في الفصل. Or no, wouldn't it be دخلت?
Yes.
دخلت.
Look, guys, simple. For past tense, if I say anta or anti or antuma or antum or antunna, just get the verb and add whatever's on the tab. So if I say anta, say dakhalta. If I say anti, say dakhalti. If I say tum, dakhaltum. Antuma, dakhaltum. Okay? Straightforward. Second person is like, in past tense, is a walk in the park. Okay? If I say ana, dakhaltu. And if I say nahnu, dakhalna. Right? Third person is where you have to use your brain just a little more, but it's pretty easy. Still pretty easy. Right? Go ahead, enter.
دخلت في الفصل وسلمت على الأستاذ.
Good. No, it was anta. I changed it on him. Iman. At-talibatu. So it's at-talibu, we want to change it to at-talibatu. لا I said at-talibatu, right? No. دخلت Now, one more time. Good. Najib. الطالبات. What's the first verb? At-talibatu. Is it first person, second person, or third person? The word at-talibatu.
Third person.
Huh?
Third person.
Third person. And what do we say about if the verb is third person? It can only be this or that.
دخلت.
دخلت singular feminine. دخلت
دخلت الطالبات الفصل وسلمنا على الأستاذ.
good. One more time.
دخلت الطالبات في الفصل وسلمنا على الأستاذ.
good. Maz. الطالبان.
الطالبان. It would be دخل الطالبان في الفصل وسلم على الأستاذ.
good. again.
دخل الطالبان في الفصل وسلم على الأستاذ.
إيمان. الطالبتان.
دخلت What did you say? الطالبتان.
الطالبتان. yes. good. One more time.
دخلت الطالبتان في الفصل وسلمتا على الأستاذ.
good. Number 3. Read number 3, Mona.
فتحت عائشة درج مكتبها.
لا. مفعول به.
درج. فتحت عائشة درج مكتبها وأخرجت قلمها.
good. One more time.
فتحت عائشة درج مكتبها وأخرجت قلمها.
نعم. نجيب read it back.
فتحت عائشة درج مكتبها وأخرجت قلمها.
good. Maz.
فتحت عائشة درج مكتبها وأخرجت
قلمها. إيمان. Same one. Just read it. Just read it.
فتحت عائشة درج مكتبها وأخرجت قلمها.
وأخرجت again. yeah. Okay. And what does it mean, Mona?
Aisha opened the drawers of her desk and took
The drawer, one drawer of her desk,
and took out her pen.
and took out her pen. Right. Good.
What's plural?
Huh?
What's plural?
Adraj. Najib, make it nahnu. What's the verb? فتحنا.
Yeah.
Okay.
Said نحن, right?
Yeah.
فتحنا فتحنا دروج
مكتبنا.
فتحنا دروج مكتبنا وأخرجنا قلمنا.
نعم. One more time.
فتحنا دروج مكتبنا وأخرجنا قلمنا.
Good. Which basically now means we opened the drawer of our desk and we took out our pen. Good. Maz. Replace Aisha in the sentence with Zaydun.
فتح زيد دروج مكتبه. No.
Durja.
دروج مكتبه.
First of all, that ba. Maktab.
مكتبه.
What's the ba gonna have? What vowel sign is the ba gonna have?
كسرة.
Okay, so let's give it a kasra. You keep giving a fatha.
مكتبه.
مكتبه.
Oh,
It's because it's preceded by a kasra.
Okay, فتح زيد زوج مكتبه أوكي
وأخرج
قلمه.
Good. One more time.
فتح زيد زوج مكتبه
وأخرج
قلمه.
Good. وأخرج قلمه. إيمان. أنت.
فتحتي
Mhm.
زوج مكتبه
Good. نعم. وأخرجت. Yeah. One more time. Good. Najib. أنتم.
فتحتم زوج مكتبكم
all of you. وأخرجتم
قلمكم.
نعم. One more time.
فتحتم زوج مكتبكم
مكتبكم. Again from the beginning.
فتحتم زوج مكتبكم وأخرجتم قلمكم.
نعم. ماز. عائشة وزينب. فتحت. You opened.
Sorry. فتحت.
Iman. Aisha and Zainab.
Oh no, it's still be فتحت.
Okay.
Sorry, Iman. Aisha was Zainab.
وزينب. Start from the beginning.
فتحت عائشة
عائشة
وزينب زوج
هما.
وأخرجتها
قلمهما. Good. One more time.
فتحت عائشة زينب درج مكتبهما وأخرجتها قلمهما.
Good. Iman. أنا. Good. One more time. Good. Mona, read number 4. One more time. Good. Najib? Same one, just read it the way it is.
نظفت الخادمة البيت وغسلت الثياب.
نعم. Maz?
نظفت
نظفت
الخادمة البيت وغسلت
الثياب. Again.
نظفت الخادمة
البيت.
وغسلت الثياب.
One more time, Maz.
نظفت
نظفت
الخادمة البيت وغسلت الثياب.
الثياب مفعول به. إيمان. Good. One more time. Good. So it says hunna next to it, which is the plural feminine third person. So we'll change al-khadimatu to al-khadimatu. Iman, go ahead. No, that's...
Wait,
Mm-hmm.
it would be
Mm-hmm. Good. One more time. Good. Najib. نحن
نظفنا
نظفنا
البيت وغسلنا الثياب.
Good. One more time.
نظفنا البيت وغسلنا الثياب.
نعم. ماز. أنتما.
نظفتنا.
Again. That ta that's there, it's because it was Aisha. Don't make it part of the verb. نظفتما.
نظفتنا البيت وغسلتنا الثياب.
نعم. Number 5. Mona, اقرأي.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
Good. One more time.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
Najib, same one. اقرأ.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ
وكتبها
في كراسته.
Maz, same one.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
Again.
فهم التلميذ
محاضرة الأستاذ
وكتبها في
كراسته. إيمان. وكتبها
وكتبها في كراسة
he again محاضرة مفعول به أستاذي مضاف إليه وكتبها Najib, read that same one again.
فهم التلميذ
ها؟ فهم التلميذ
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
Again. Maz, read. فهم التلميذ
محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبهما وهم
إيمان اقرأ اقرأي Good. Again. Good. Najib. Again. فهم التلميذ. There we go.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
Again.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
Again.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
نعم. Maz, again.
فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها في كراسته.
نعم.
Why is it كتبها?
وكتبها. So first of all, فهم التلميذ محاضرة الأستاذ. The student understood the teacher's lesson. So the student understood the teacher's lesson. وكتبها and wrote it. Wrote it, the it, which is a ha, is referring to the muhadara. The lesson, right? Or the lecture to be honest, the lecture. So he wrote it, he wrote like the lecture, fi kurrasatihi, in his notebook. So the student understood the lecture of the teacher or the teacher's lecture and wrote it in his notebook. Okay, make it anti, Najib. That's make it anti.
فهمتي محاضرة الأستاذ
وكتبتها في كراستك. Again. فهمتي
محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبتها في كراستك.
نعم. Okay, take a break for a few minutes and then we'll continue.
Was she a student?
She teaches from out here, but they sent her as like a chaperone for the senior trip for the girls. To get started.
mutassil for the ha, that it was a kasra because of the letter preceding it. What is that, bro? Because I don't remember that.
In the section of the attached pronouns. Well, I mean, first of all, we need to start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. But in the section of the attached pronouns, right? We took that like the pronoun for him or it, right? When it's the who, right? Generally, when it's preceded by fatha, it'll be who, or when it's preceded by a dhamma, it'll be who, right? But that same exact pronoun, when it's preceded by kasra for the ease of pronunciation and readability, it will be pronounced he. So qalamihi, right? But if it was qalama, say qalamahu or qalamuhu.
That's based just on ease.
Yeah,
Okay.
and pronunciation. Okay, back on page 223, that last one. Iman, that same last one, change it to at-talibatu. Mm-hmm.
Wait, at-talibatu or at-tilmidatu?
Whatever, at-tilmidatu, at-talibatu.
At-talibatu muhadarata al-ustadi wa katabtiha.
Notes, at-talibatu. وكتبتها
كتبتها
في كراستها. Again.
فهمت الطالبة محاولة الأستاذ وكتبتها في كراستها.
No. Najib, do the same one. Do antum. فهمتم. You don't need to say التلميذ.
فهمتم محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبتم في كراستكم.
Good. Again.
فهمتم محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبتم في
وكتبتم. All of you wrote, but you want to say all of you wrote it. Mona, do it. Antum, the last one.
فهمتم محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبوها.
They wrote it. Antum. So this is what you do. So this is a little special right here. You add a wow. Because without the wow it becomes katabtumha. Right? And you don't say that. So you say wa katabtumuha. So you're adding this wow right here. وَكَتَبْتُمُوهَا.
It's the wrong.
Because, so you conjugate the verb to katabtum, right? And then you wrote, all of you wrote it. And the conjugation of katabtumha is just weird, right? So what you do there is after the verb is conjugated and before the pronoun is added, right? You insert a wow and it becomes katabtumuha. Katabtumuha. So read the whole thing, Najib.
فهمتم محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبتموها في كراستكم.
نعم في كراستكم. Good. Make it الطالبات يا ماس.
Change تلميذ to الطالبات.
Yes, التلميذ to الطالبات.
فهمت الطالبات محاضرة الأستاذ وكتبها.
It was الطالبات, right?
Yeah,
So what did you change فهمت to?
I said فهمت.
Yeah, okay, so فهمت الطالبات محاضرة الأستاذ and then?
Yeah, وكتب. Why would it be? Why would I change it? Because it's referring to the lesson, right?
No, it's referring to you writing the lesson or the student writing the lesson.
Okay, so it would be وكتب who?
No.
No.
Iman, what would it be? Najib, what would it be? They wrote it. They is الطالبات.
Oh, it'd be كتبهم.
كتبناها. It's الطالبات. It's they.
I'm so confused.
No, you're not.
Are going to-
And then the oil, the feedback, then how referring back to it.
It's كتبناها. They wrote it. And they is conjugated in the feminine plural. Right? As opposed to الطلاب, which would be كتبوا, right? But this is كتبنا because it's them, female. Iman, do الطالبان. So it would be وكتبناها في. Najib at the end. That last one, sorry.
كتبناها في كراستنا.
They wrote it in our books.
في كراستهن.
هن في كراستهن, in their notebooks. Iman, الطالبان. الطالبان.
فهم الطالبان محاضرة الأستاذ وكتباها.
Good. وكتباها.
في كراسة
هما. كراسة هما. Okay. Turn the page to 225. Mona, read السؤال الأول. Read the instructions under السؤال الأول.
أشكل آخر كل كلمة.
آخرة.
آخرة.
Would be like other than or the other, but آخرة is the last.
أشكل آخر كل كلمة في الجمل الآتية.
Good. أشكل means put تشكيل, put vowel signs. أشكل آخر كل كلمة. So أشكل, put تشكيل. آخر كل كلمة, at the end of each word. في الجمل الآتية, in the following sentences. Go ahead, read number 1, Muna.
الإسلام دين كامل لكل زمان ومكان.
Good. Najib, read it.
الإسلام دين كامل.
دين
الإسلام دين كامل.
كامل
الإسلام دين كامل
لكل زمان
لكل زمان ومكان.
Najib, Mona, read it again.
الإسلام دين كامل لكل زمان ومكان.
Najib.
الإسلام دين كامل لكل زمان ومكان.
Iman.
الإسلام دين كامل لكل زمان ومكان.
Naz.
الإسلام دين كامل لكل زمان ومكان.
Mona, what does it mean?
Islam is a perfect religion or way for every place and time.
Yeah, it's a perfect or a complete religion for every place and time. So Islam is a complete. Islam is a perfect religion, or is a complete way of life religion. لكل زمان, for every time, ومكان, and every place. Go ahead. You want to read number 2?
وجدنا ابن الأستاذ.
لا, وجدنا, نحن وجدنا. So we found something else. So the next thing is going to be the object of the verb. مفعول به.
وجدنا ابن الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء صندوق البريد بجوار باب مدرسة الرئيسي.
Good. One more time.
وجدنا ابن الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء صندوق البريد بجوار باب المدرسة الرئيسي.
Good. Najib.
وجدنا ابن الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء صندوق البريد
بجوار باب
المدرسة
الرئيسي.
الرئيسي.
Good. One more time, Najib.
وجدنا ابن الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء صندوق البريد بجوار باب المدرسة الرئيسي.
Good. Mona, what does it mean?
We found the son of the Egyptian new teacher.
We found the son of the new Egyptian teacher.
The new Egyptian teacher behind the is that mailbox?
Yes, behind the mailbox.
Behind the mailbox, next to the door of the what's Raisi?
So first of all, Ra'isi, it's a sifa. What's the sifa for?
School.
It's actually a sifa for Bab. It's Bab al-Madrasat al-Ra'isi, the main door of the school. The main door of the school. Ra'isi, over here with me, the main door. So it's actually, although it does follow the word madrasa, right? It's a sifa for the word Bab. Yes. Iman, read it. Good. One more time. Mm-hmm.
بجوار باب المدرسة الرئيسي.
Good. Maz. وجدنا
بني الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء الصندوق البريد بجوار باب المدرسة الرئيسي.
Good. Again, one more time, Maz.
وجدنا بني الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء الصندوق البريد بجوار باب المدرسة
رئيسي. Najib, read that same one again.
وجدنا ابن الأستاذ المصري الجديد وراء صندوق البريد بجوار باب المدرسة الرئيسي.
Good. Iman, one more time. The next one, Mona.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Good. One more time.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Good. Najib.
ركب
Mahmoudun fa'ilun. He's the one that did the writing.
ركب محمود
دراجته
دراجته الجديد
صفة
الجديدة
الجديدة.
ركب محمود
دراجته الجديدة وانطلق. It's وانطلق, but because the waw is called hamzatul wasl, right? It's actually وانطلق, but when you connect it, you say وانطلق. You basically read over the alif, right? So you say وانطلق.
وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Good. Again.
ركب محمود
دراجته
الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Iman. في الساعة نعم. ماس
ركب
محمود دراجته الجديدة
وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Najib again.
ركب محمود
دراجته
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
إيمان. Mona, what does it mean?
He rode his new bike, and
Intalaqa over here just means like he set off or took off from.
he took off from his house at 1 o'clock. I don't know. It's
Like at exactly 1 o'clock. في الساعة الواحدة تماما, at exactly 1 o'clock. Read it again, Iman. تماما. Maz again.
وإذا محمود دم دراجة
Najib, read it.
وكما محمود دراجة
Mona, read it.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Again.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Iman.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Najib.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة فانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Again.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Maz.
ركب محمود دراجته الجديدة وانطلق من بيته في الساعة الواحدة تماما.
Mona, just read the last one. Not the last one, but number 4.
إن منزلة الصلاة من العبادات كمنزلة الرأس من الجسد.
Good. One more time.
إن منزلة الصلاة من العبادات كمنزلة الرأس من الجسد.
Najib.
المنزل
إن
إن منزلة
الصلاة
إن منزلة الصلاة من العبادة
من العبادات
من العبادات
كمنزلة الرأس
كمنزلة الرأس
من الجسد.
من الجسد.
Again.
إن منزلة
إن
منزلة الصلاة
إن منزلة الصلاة
إن منزلة الصلاة من العبادات كمنزلة
الرأس
من الجسد.
إيمان. Good. Again. Mona, what does it mean?
Like surely the status of salah from the acts of worship is like this. Is it status actually?
Status, position.
Is like the position of the head for the body.
Yes, indeed the position of salah, indeed the position or the status of salah in regards to the actions of worship is like the position of the head, or is like the status of the head in regards to the body. Right? We'll continue tomorrow. وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.